Welcome gamers, some exciting news. We get to have a sneak peek at the coming game Zephon, which isn't due for release until 2024. So you've got a demo available this week. So get in and download it if you do want to actually just check the game out in its very, very early alpha state. You can see this is version 0.1 alpha. And it does sort of talk here about the, expect there to be bugs. It's a very, very limited version at this stage. But it will give you a feel for what the game actually does bring, particularly if you've enjoyed Gladius in the past. Then this is from the same makers of Gladius. Rather than go through what the game introduces for itself, I think we'll actually go to the Steam page and read the backstory there. I think it's the easiest way to get a feel for what the game is actually trying to do lore-wise. It's just so you get a bit of so when we go in, we'll have an understanding of what to actually then go and do. So we'll do that one first. Look, by the way, welcome to my channel if you're new to the channel, and so if you, and also I do want to make a point of thanking anyone who does support the channel, whether that be through Patreon, which is links in the description, through merchandise, through any of the various myriad ways, even just a simple like on the thumbs up or a like on the, or even a dislike. Actually, any interaction with the video does actually help with the YouTube algorithm. So by all means, please feel free to dislike away. It all helps. Anyway, let's just get into it. So this is from the developers of Warhammer 40,000 Gladius. This is Proxy Studios, is the developer and the publisher of this particular game. So it's not a Warhammer game, but it's got very close mechanics to Warhammer 40,000 Gladius. Now, if you haven't ever played Gladius before, then shame on you. It's an incredibly good game, and often it is out with special deals as well. So I highly, highly recommend Gladius. One of my probably top 5 games of all time, I would think, the Gladius series. So absolutely love it. And Zephon is sort of, as I say, from the same developers and very much in the same vein. Warhammer 40,000 Gladius was built on a previous game called Pandora, which was their first game, and that was a game sort of set in like in an alien world, where you're sort of trying to then sort of survive in this alien world. Then they built Gladius, and now we're going back to, I think it's actually a version of Earth is where we sort of play like a very, very unusual version of Earth in the not too distant future is where Zephon actually then takes part. Let's go down and have a read of the actual introduction, because that will then introduce what we're looking at when we go into the actual game itself. So as we come on down, about this game, here we are. So humanity emerges hesitant into ruination. Almost nothing is left of the world as we knew it. Settlements, forests, seas, mountains, all have been blasted into unfamiliarity. Horribly mutated animals hunt in packs through deformed woodland. Decrepit military robots stumble unknowingly through the ruins. Sensors and logic centers blown. Alien soldiers, once impossibly powerful, cower in the wrecks of their ships, praying to heedless gods for rescue. These are the different factions, sort of, that are in the game. So control the survivors of humanity in a near future apocalypse of alien origin. Pick a path between the indifferent abominations of the Voice and the uncaring automata of Zephon. And Zephon, I think, is sort of like the AI mind control type thing that controls the cyber forces. So you've got all these different competing groups on the actual surface of the planet, like old aliens. The Voice is sort of like an Eldrich type horror group. So you've got all these competing entities on this very, very devastated planet now, which I think was Earth. With city management, turn-based tactical combat, unholy research, diplomatic manoeuvring. This is new. We haven't had diplomatic manoeuvring before in any of the other games, really, to an extent. I think Pandora may have had it in a basic sense. This one, it does actually have it as well. And branching narrative quests, gather your allies and pick your actions wisely. So here we go. On planet Earth, that was once the cradle of life. The extinction of humanity is at hand. What will you do to survive? So this is not Earth as we know it, but it's Earth in the near future. So we've got battles in through here. So intense turn-based survival strategy in both single and multiplayer. To command over 50 unique units in battle, each with its own graphics, voiceovers, weapon systems, and sets of traits and abilities. I have found the voiceovers to be a little bit repetitive, so I've actually turned them down a lot in our playthrough, so they won't actually be chatting all the time. Plan out optimal build orders amongst 3 asymmetric paths. So human, which is sort of where we're playing, voice, which is the more the alien sort of Eldrich type, horror type elements, and cyber, which are sort of robotic forces, or combine them in surprising ways. So we can actually sort of end up combining these different entities into different like and morph them into something new. Deploy tactical operations, interference protocols, otherworldly hymns of decay, and even nuclear weapons to gain an advantage. Now, that will not be part of what we're playing, but that will be coming later on. So combat occurs on the main map, no switching modes, and having to auto-resolve battles because they drag on too long, which is, again, very much like Gladius. So use distinctive leader abilities in fully feature multiplayer with or against your friends. So there will be a full-on co-op eventually in the game, not the build that we actually have. Okay, this is build. So take your settlements from scrappy bases to sprawling metropolises as your faction expands its sphere of influence. And there's a lot more. And you'll sort of see in the little screen over here, not that we can sort of really blow it up, but there's a lot more you can do than what you could do in Gladius with the actual city itself. And I don't even know if you can build multiple cities. I'm assuming you can, but I just don't know much about it. Okay, so find and control your cities, there we go. By constructing buildings on tiles, everything you need, everything you build needs space, very much like Gladius. Optimize your empire-wide economy with 11 tiered resources. So instead of just having like a handful, like typically in Gladius you had maybe 3 or 4. There were different resources, but you only really were managing 3 or 4. In this case we've got like 11, so there's actually a lot more choice, allowing you to specialize cities in their placement, recognize each building by its appearance, so 3 architecture styles to accompany your chosen path. So as we start to head down either human, voice or cyber, we then do get other different sorts of abilities, and I think that we make that choice as we start to weave our way through the game. I think. I'm not 100% sure about that one. Fortify, I don't know if the starting faction dictates that or not. Fortify key strategic points to prevent enemies from assailing your positions. Sometimes defense is the best defense, which is very true in Gladius as well. Okay, so explore. So traverse the unfamiliarity of the destroyed Earth and unveil its deadly new secrets. Discover dozens of terrain features and phenomena spread across 6 climates. So flesh trees, microchip factories, travelling sandstorms, erupting volcanoes, and much more. I found that sandstorms are just everywhere, so they're a bit annoying. Tune the generation of a new post-apocalyptic game world, cliff sides, ruins, and deformed woodland, occupied by violent wildlife and expanding NPCs. This is interesting. We've now got an NPC factions that actually are in the game along with the AI factions, so they act out on their own agendas. They're not sort of competing for the same things that we actually are. Exterminate packs of mutated animals to collect caches full of rewards, capture outposts and expand your reach one at a time. Research, so this one here, as mankind strives to catch up with the new masters of the earth, you'll make strange discoveries that could be just what you need to survive. So unlock over 150 technologies spread across 10 tiers. So there's a lot more technologies per tier now than what there's ever been. In Gladius, there was only like a handful in each tier. This one we've got a heap of them, like units, buildings, operations, weapons, abilities, and passive bonuses, similar to Gladius in that sort of sense, but there's a lot more choice. Advance from post-apocalyptic survivalism through a blend of magic and cyberpunk aesthetics before achieving transhuman transcendence. Observe each unit upgrade visualized on the model. Outfit regular, large and titanic units with cruise missiles, tunneling nails, deflector shields and much more. Read exact modify numbers in tooltips here, which has always been great in this game. The tooltips have been awesome through Gladius as well. When I say this game, I mean Gladius. And easy to browse in-game compendium, again, awesome in Gladius. So you don't have to scour the internet for information, and that really is a feature of Gladius, and this, of course, it'll be brought through here as well. You do have negotiation. This is the diplomatic negotiation, which we haven't seen before in reality. I think Pandora, as I say, may have had it, but I can't. I haven't played Pandora for many, many years. So diplomatic negotiations are key to staving off defeat, but your opponents are watching your actions and reacting. So role play with AI-controlled opponents through diplomatic encounters. Each AI comes with their own likes and dislikes based on their character. Establish peace, trading agreements and alliances, or use your influence to antagonize your friends towards each other. Or choose sides. So Zephon, Akron, and Reva, non-player factions, permeate the world and need to be contended with. So these are the NPCs, and so these essentially, I'm not exactly sure what the Akron and Reavers are. I think the Akron, may be the Eldrich, and I think the Reavers may be the sort of like the leftover aliens. I think, but I may be wrong about that. Decide. Okay, as the clash between Zephon and the Akron continues, your choice of leader, Zephon is definitely the cyber group, and your choice of leader and path will determine who survives in the wreckage of Earth. So steer your empire through multi-stage branching, unexpected events, nightmares. There's a lot more events in this game than what there was in Gladius, and so your choices now actually have fairly impactful, like things happen with impact. Dive into your chosen leader's backstory through their unique quest chain. Complete it to unlock a permanent reward. Play a part of, which I don't really like these in these sort of games, to be honest, so I tend to turn those sorts of things off if I can. Play a part in determining if humanity, machines, or horrors prevail. The clash between Zephon and Akron continues across the planet, so resolve the prophecy that has brought the Akron to Earth to unlock new game modifiers. All of this has happened before and will happen again. So open your eyes, Singleton. You are not dreaming, you are the dream. So there we go, blah, blah, blah. So that's actually where we are with the game. So I think this gives us a much better feel for what we have to do than the actual intro. I'll still play the intro. Let's get back to the game itself. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is available as a demo for 1 week. And so if you're wanting to sort of play the game yourself, just get a bit of a feel for it, what I'm playing right now is going to be available for 1 week, but basically at the time that I'm uploading this particular video. So grab it if you're wanting to just see what it's actually got. I may have this a little bit out before it actually goes into the demo release, but you do actually have a week to sort of just try it out. There's not much you can do, as you'll see through here. So it's early access. It's very, very early in the alpha. There'll be bugs, imbalances. It's limited to single player against one opponent on a tiny map. 2 leaders are available for selection and 1 NPC. The NPC we don't get to choose, so that I'm not sure if that's randomly chosen for us or not. Research progress is limited to the first 3 tech tiers, so not the full 10, and the game ends at turn 50. So we've got about 30 techs we can then play with, and in these games, really, I know in Gladius it was often turn 100 was usually where you end up before you started getting close to victory. But I think on a tiny map, 50, we may be able to do it within 50 turns, maybe not. The full version will contain co-op and PvP multiplayer, larger maps, advanced world generation parameters, 8 leaders, 3 NPC factions, over 50 units spread across 10 tiers of research, more terrain features and quests, an in-game grand finale, unlockable game modifiers, achievements, multiple languages, as well as full workshop support, which is sort of what we now expect. Okay, we'll click on OK. So we're going to play a new game, of course. Now, when we come in, I can change the difficulty, but I'll just leave it on medium, which means that nobody has. There's no advantages, no advantage or disadvantage given when we do play on medium. So we'll just play that way. This is the Fallen. So we've only got 2 that we can choose from in through here, and so we actually have. So we're going to have a lot of these other ones. The emulated mind is not going to be available to us. And look, I've got to say, the game is it's like Pandora as a game was probably the closest game that we've had to a spiritual successor to Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri game. And so this looks to be taking it even further along that road in my mind. I may be wrong about that because I haven't played much of it, but I feel that this is where this game actually is. This is going to be the next Alpha Centauri style game, I would think, because I think that each of these tend to be human, and then you tend to sort of then branch off depending on your choices. So that would be my elevator pitch on what I think the game is going to be, essentially. But you've got like different sorts of heroes, and so for the Fallen Soldier, and the only ones we can play is either the Fallen Soldier or the Heartless Artificer. So this is an engineer, Foundation of Blood. I won't go through what she actually does bring. By all means, just pause the video and have a bit of a read if you're wanting to have a bit of a read. I'm now going to scroll so you can read a bit more. You can just read the backstory back and through there. The backstory, I think, does actually kick in. But we'll play as the Fallen Soldier. And so we've got Undying. The Fallen Soldier's followers carry a piece of his flesh around to share in its uncanny healing powers. Units regenerate hit points each turn. So they're a little bit like, if you, and again, I'll keep on referring back to Gladius, these are a little bit like the Necron, the undead faction from the Warhammer 40,000, where they do generate a little bit of health each turn without having to sort of go back and specifically heal. They can still specifically heal. So military background, decades of training taught the fallen soldier to secure transport as fast as possible. Starts with an outrider instead of a third squad of militants. So militants are your basic human, and I think everyone gets those basic sort of starts, which for the start of a game like this with a demo is probably going to be a bit off-putting, thinking that, oh, everyone starts off this way. It's like if you were playing Gladius and the only faction you had was different factions of Space Marines, for example. That's sort of how it sort of feels. But I think the game expands in so many other directions once you actually get going. So leave no man behind, bring every soldier home comes with a heavy price. Unit upkeep for the fallen soldier's army is increased. That's, I think, because we're getting all these other little bonuses, and survival training in elite. In a crisis, only the best soldiers will make it out alive, so spend influence to increase the level of a unit so we can actually go and promote soldiers and make them sort of even better. So anyway, that's sort of where we are. There's the backstory again. I'll just pause it there if you're wanting to have a bit of a read. So read, and that's the end of it down to there. Okay, let's get into it. Let's close that one off. Now, we do actually have an AI, but we don't get to choose this one. It's just going to be random between one of the three. So it'll either be the Zephon or the Cyber Forces, it'll either be the Eldrich Forces or the Alien Forces, how I think it will then be sort of constructed or construed, I think. So let's just go and get started. Play the backstory.
We were not ready for their divine judgment. We were tested, and almost everyone just failed. Their dark mysticism shattered an era of enlightenment and ushered in the dusk of the 21st century. Billions of lives were lost in a heartbeat, turned to ash, and cast away in the wind.
I don't know why they're flying a 747 into fight. Don't know what it can do, but anyway.
Fighting, driven by an enigma in the networks. Their surviving forces waged a desperate crusade against the machines.
There's the Cyber Forces.
We became bystanders to a relentless war. Now our world is an ever-twisting nightmare. Hellish threats lurk in every whisper and shadow. There is no glory, only survival. Deliver us from this trial. Reclaim our world for mankind.
Here we go. It's not the world as we know it. It's not the world as we know it at all. So if we have a bit of a look, we'll just zoom back out. This is the furthest out zoom. You don't use the WASD keys, which is sort of unusual for a modern game. You can see it's all hex-based. It's just a tiny little map that we're playing on. We do have a massive water. So sorry if there's kids. You can hear the kids screaming. The neighbours come from overseas, and they come up every year. They come for about a month, and unfortunately they make a lot of noise when they're here. Their kids make a lot of noise. So anyway, I'm hopefully we won't hear too much of that. I mean, kids will be kids at the end of the day. So we're in through here. You can see we've got like a big water area coming back through this side. A few little things. I have actually turned on, if I just go back into the settings, for example, under video, I have turned on the cliff highlights, and I have turned on the grid just to make it a bit easier. I would strongly suggest that you do that. It's off by default, both of those, but the cliff highlights in particular will tell you where your ground forces can go. So that's actually quite important. So we'll just turn that one off. Now the forces that we actually have in through here, so these are essentially our human forces. We've got ourselves the militants back in through this other side. I've also turned the voices way down because they do get very annoying with the militants, because that's really your only force that you actually end up having. And so you can sort of see that they're ready to rock and roll and move around wherever they need to go. Back in through here we end up having a group of engineers. So the engineers are riding these particular buggies. These little engineer, they're sort of sitting inside the actual housing. This is where we then go and create our roads. We create pliers tuned to target allied mechanical unit for 3 turns, and we also then can build cities with these particular guys. So initially we need to be building our city. There's another group of militants back through there, and we also then get this particular thing in through this side, which is an outrider, and it can have 1 cargo. So we can bring one of the militants into this area to then have it then be able to move quickly around the map. The map itself works very much like it did in Gladius, where we've got rivers will then slow us down in through here. So there's a river that runs up through this other side. We've got different terrain, more terrain than what we had in Gladius. The bleed that we see through here is very much like the wireweed from Gladius, so it works almost the same. But there's a lot more little things in through here as well. So, and when we hover over, you can see Arctic River with brush. We've got volcanic, and with a cliff that sort of runs down through that other side. This is volcanic with a river that runs through it. Anyway, let's just move. Which way? We'll probably want to clear out whatever's at the top to start with, so we'll just go and get that sorted. What do we have over here? This is a watchtower, which is capturable, reveals all tiles in sight range, and it does give extra influence research and also for the controlling city as well. So let's just go and grab that one. I can't get it with anything else other than with the outrider, so we'll use the outrider to go and grab that. Alright, so we're seeing things a bit further over. Back over this side we've got an arc discharge back in through these different areas. I don't know what that does. So there's a lot of these things I don't actually know what they do. Again, the game has got good information. I'm not sort of seeing... there we go, that's Akron remnants discovered. Not sure where that actually is. Oh, they're up there. There's the Akron remnants. Binary. Yeah, I'm not seeing the arc discharge. I'm not sure what that actually is. We're seeing it. Construct discovered. Oh, there we go. Arc discharge. If I go and click on it, do you know what the worst was? Zephon's winning ran under everything, everywhere. Miles and miles of raw copper. These arcs are found a fraction of Zephon's power lashing out at you. You could take advantage of that power if you wanted, but the enemies could too. So it looks like it does a bit of self-damage. So it actually looks like it does create like an electrical discharge if we do actually sort of walk over the top of it. So we've got that there as well. So we might have to avoid that sort of area, I guess. So that's the cyber. That's sort of like the wireweed from the cyber. So the bleed is coming from the Eldrich sort of horror type stuff. Now we do actually have another ruins. This is a cyber cache back up this other side. We've got more arc discharge all the way up. It's going to be a little bit of hassle to work our way up the top there. Let's just see where it suggests that we build our city. So if we just go into this area, it's suggesting one of these 2 locations. One thing I like to do with these is to press Ctrl Z and just have a quick skim and see if you tally up all of the percentage points. I like to get at least 40, so that location there becomes viable, but I can't do that in 1 turn. I can grab this one in 1 turn. This gives me actually a lot. I get a lot in through there. I get the 30, 60. I get a plus 60 there, and we get a plus 60 with the other one it's suggesting. So I'm just going to go with this one here and actually go and build at that location without worrying too much about what it actually is. But we do get a lot of research from this. Is actually a good thing for us to get immediately. So let's go up that way. So we'll build the city. Now, the city only has 2 building slots, again, very much like Gladius. And so in this case, the first 2 building slots, we have a headquarters and we have a construction yard. They're the 2 things that got built in the actual city itself, so we can't do much else with those. So we need to grab another tile, so we can only sort of acquire target ground tiles up to 1 tile away from the headquarters. Buildings can only be built on acquired tiles. Each building requires a free building slot, and we've sort of used up all the building slots in here. So we can't go and build anything else. Now the first thing I want to get is a tech upgrade. Now the tech upgrade there, I'm not sure why. why I get the plus 30 there. Arctic, river, and bleed. Is the bleed? The bleed looks like it may give me a plus. That may be actually viable. Actually, we can't build on that one. We're going to have to sort of take that one off. If we often can clear a tile, removes bleed, ruins, and forest from target acquired tile one at a time, frees up a building slot from the target acquired tile. So that if we got rid of the bleed from in here, that would then probably take away a little bit of the research. So I'm thinking that we might go this way here. We can get a 10% research, and we do want to get the research immediately. There's no other research anywhere else, so we'll just go across and grab that one. It's also got 3 slots immediately, so we'll just go and grab that one there. So I'll build that one, 2 turns for that. Now we'll just go back. The other units, we've still got these other units that haven't actually moved. Let's move these down. Rule of thumb when you're playing this or Gladius would be to keep the units pretty close to each other. So we'll move across down into here this time. Take that cache. We picked up 17.6 at research, so we've got like a bit of a build-up of research at this point in time, which is good. That'll give us a bit of a boost. We do want to get ahead in the research. And there's no other goodies that we can grab straight away, so we'll just keep on coming back down into these ruins and just see what else there is. So there's another cache back in through here, another cyber cache. Again, cyber being the robotic cache. So we don't know what sort of reward we're going to pick up from there. Okay, let's go Control Z. We don't need to see that anymore, so we'll just move that one back off. But it is helpful. Our research, we do need to pick a research, so we'll just go into here. And so at the moment with the game, with this early access version, with this demo version, we only have the first 3 tiers of research. And so when we hover over, this is the first tier. We need to unlock 3 of these to be able to then unlock the second tier. So we have these sorts of different units and different things in through this side. And then finally, the last one is what we actually end up having back over here as well. And I haven't really had a good look at these to sort of see which way we want to go. There may be a special building or special something. If there's engineers there, we want to be rushing to that unit usually, because that's going to then allow us to found the city. So this is actually probably where we want to end up going. So tier 3 is locked. We need to research 3 tiers from the previous tier to unlock it, and to go. So the rest of these, the next 7 tiers are completely locked at this point in time. Let's go back to tier 2. We need 3 technologies from the previous. And so usually with if it's anything at all like Gladius, it'll be trying to find a collection of more economic, but also trying to build up a little bit of strength as well. Now, the automated factory is going to allow me to produce human vehicles, not cyber vehicles. So we'll end up with sort of human vehicles for this one, as well as generates minerals and research. So it will actually generate a little bit of research as well, which is actually good for us. The commander will allow us to then build a commander hero type unit, which is a little bit like a one of the captains from the Space Marines type sort of unit that we'd be able to then sort of go and bring with just a hero. I think we might go the commander. So we'll grab the commander. We should get him pretty early because we did find that other research. We'll just close that one. And yeah, 1 turn. Basically, we're going to pick him up on 1 turn. It only requires 24 research for him. And we're already sort of moving fairly well through the actual research itself. So we'll end our turn. These are creating bleed wherever they sort of stop. So these are Eldrich. There we go. We've got our commander. So a biological hero that supports infantry units in battle. Cool. Okay, that's good. Now, we probably want to stop this before it goes too far. These are Akron remnants. So these are sort of like the Eldritch type horrors. There's 6 of them. We've got subjugators. It's more just looking at what sort of armor damage that they actually end up going and doing. If we go and right click this, so the subjugator has got 2 damage, 2 armor penetration, and 1 attack, 6 accuracy, which is not that great, and a range of 2. So and it applies concussed to biological enemy for 1 turn, and minus 25% accuracy as well. So it is concussive. So against our craft, it's not going to be all that important. But this is interesting because now we can sort of see that these units spread the bleed, and so we do want to stop that. Now this one won't be affected by the concussiveness, and we can grab this cyber cache. So let's go up and do that, and we'll try to deal with this unit using our unit here, I think. just so we can sort of get whatever's behind us. Well, here we go. We've actually picked up so that was actually a cyber cache that we ended up grabbing, and in here we've actually got ourselves some Malakim destroyers, which I haven't seen before. So we've now got ourselves a cyber unit. So I think these are cyber, I'm guessing. So mechanical hover infantry with powerful overheating weapons. So the first time that they come in, they don't actually have any movement or action. So they're just sitting there. These don't have any action points because I think that they created the bleed. So we'll just go and start to hit these. So I'll do a little bit of damage there. These will be interesting to see how they sort of then operate. Now, I think we just keep on exploring south with our team. And perhaps even sort of having a little bit of a look at the water, just seeing where the water finishes. And we'll just keep on coming back down. We'll get this cyber cache in here. What do we pick up this time? So we've got a chariot prospect. So selected hero unit before claiming item. So applies blinded for 1 turn. So the spectral analysis tech of this, I'm not sure how we use that. We expose a little bit more. We now actually have a microchip fabricator, which is capturable, which will mean it will be permanent, a little bit like this one over here. We're not seeing anything else that's capturable back up this other side. Okay, so we've then got the, we've picked up a fair bit of stuff in through this particular area. By the way, if you click on these different things, like if we go to the Malakim destroyers, so once you start aligning yourself with machines, you start to think like them. For me, the dead should be left dead, but our text decided that a waste of cheap organic processing power, slice out those unneeded emotional centres, overcharge their mobility, wire them to a pair of big guns, and you have a monster that could have kept the old world warriors up at night. So this is a cyber unit that we've actually now inherited. So it's it's the lines are blurred between who's enemy and who's friends, I guess, in the actual game itself. We choose our next lot of research. So I think we will go with the automated factory, and so we can sort of start to get more research as well as to build more actual equipment. Now we do actually have the Parthian equilibrium, which will give us this is a trait for the Outrider. So this one will give us +2 accuracy. And but I think we'll go the automated factory. It's going to take 6 turns for this one. 3 turns to get that one. So we'll close that one off. All right, we'll end our turn there. Now what will these guys get up to? Oh, there's more monsters back over this other side now. There we go. They're close enough for our city to now get involved in the fight. And they did actually have a crack at our Outrider, but not going to be able to do much. Now these here have got like a plasma gun, which has got a range of 2. Now I can hit it from there. Let's have a look and see if there's anything else that actually happens with the plasma gun. Traits overheating, so it has a +5% self damage whenever we use it. So we have to be a bit careful of it. So we have to make sure that our units are always looking after themselves. But there's no damage, like there's no real problem. Now we're getting +10% damage and +5% self damage when we're inside this arc damage area. They're also in there as well, but I think we'll be okay. Undying, so +2 hit points each turn. That's because of the faction that we're playing as. Leave no man behind, so we do actually have to pay extra upkeep on these units. Hovering. You can see there we're already going through the chips now more than what we were before. So we're going to have to sort of deal with this, and that's because we've got a cyber unit. Let's just go back across. Oh, nice. Did 4 damage, that's good. And we'll then just use our Outrider here to do a bit more damage as well. The Outrider's not doing too much damage to these. If it stays where it is, our city will then help a lot. In fact, we can just keep on doing more with this one now. Let's keep these wandering down. And we can go on these areas. Let's just go into this one here is important to us because we need to correct the chips because we've got this unit here, which is if we have a look at its upkeep, it's mechanical. Actually, where is the upkeep? Not sure where it shows it actually. Hovering. I think if we hover over here. Yeah, -1.3 from units. So it's 1 for the unit, plus another 1 for the, sorry, 0.3 because of the extra leave no man behind unit upkeep. We pay extra for our units. So in we go. So we'll go and send this one in to pick up those chips, which is exactly what we do need. And so we're now on +0 at this point in time. So we're still going backwards at -0.3. So we're going to have to do a little bit more getting those chips if we want to keep this particular unit with us. But that was a handy one for us to pick up, that particular microchip fabricator. Now order cities. We've now sort of got this slot now open. And so the headquarters are what now builds the commanders. We no longer actually are relying on actual hero buildings to build them. We just build them, which I think makes more sense. It's sort of more intuitive that the city itself would get the individuals, and then we can build things, for example, like I'm sort of inclined usually to go with a research laboratory as our next port of call, and I've left that in here, where this one will then give us 6 research. Plus a bit extra because of the extra 20%, 10%, I think 10% in there. But one thing we also probably need to be mindful of is that we will actually have, in 2 turns, the automated factory. If we go with the barracks, this one will give us extra loyalty, which will be important. At the moment, we're getting +5 loyalty in Swallowtown. Let's just go ahead, though, and build the research laboratory initially. So I'll build that one. It's 4 turns to build that particular building, and that will then get our research really sort of thumping along. So we'll exit the city and end our turn. There's something down in here. Well, there's a cyber unit. We saw it, and so we're just going to sort of stay where we are here. Now we should be okay where we are because we'll pick up the extra health again. So let's just keep going with this. Now this one here can come back down a little bit further as well. Let's just come back into here. Now these have got like a special ability where the close quarter fire, they get +100% attacks at half the range. These are at full range at the moment, but let's just keep the firing going. So these are the big cyber units. They look cool actually. It's interesting. It's sort of funny because it's got its own lore, and we're so used to with Gladius having the Warhammer lore, so it's a bit of a disconnect because it's now its own entity. So you've sort of got to embrace that it's not what we're familiar with. But I think that's why I wanted to spend a bit of time just going through that backstory of Cyber, Eldrich, and also Human, sort of with and then a combination of however you want to sort of build your faction up. Let's go and smash this with the city itself. This will be good, and grab this one as well. That will then kill that one off. That's good. And we can either go exploring over here. Now this is another cyber cache. Let's go this way. Just see what it gives us. Oh, there's a monster in there. Oh, we saw this before. And I've actually sort of now, we will actually clean this one out as well. So these are Abcoliths. And so these are a different type of unit. These have got like a melee attack, so an Abcolith bite, which has got 2 damage, 2 armor piercing. These units in through here have got like a lot of armor, like 6 armor. I won't go through how the combat works. So I'll do that when we actually get the full game, because I want to keep this one sort of thumping along. But usually, if they don't do much armor penetration, ultimately we should be okay with these sort of units to be able to sort of pick them up. This one has got an armor of 5, so it's okay against that sort of unit. Although this one has taken some damage with the attacks that it's been doing, so we will be wanting to heal this one up before we sort of send it in anywhere. We can't move this one off because it did actually do that last action. We'll just order the cities. So this one in here, we can now get ourselves the commander, so we'll go and grab that one. We'll exit the city and end our turn. Oh, another one. Now I need to be careful of this. Automated factory. Research is now completed. Okay, that's cool. Well, this is the one that we probably want to go with, so let's go and kill this one off. Got rid of one of them. This one here, we're going to do a lot of damage with this particular unit, actually. So we'll go and do exactly that. Now, we took more damage to ourselves, but we should be still safe enough. So let's now move this one back. And again, we're in the arc damage. We're not going to quite get it killed, but it's very, very close now to killing off that particular beast. All right, this one here. Now, they're not doing enough damage to really sort of hurt us, but let's bring this one across to sort of getting nice and close. It's not going to do massive damage to it, but we do have the protection of the forest there, and you can see this one's only doing half damage, but that's okay. We're sort of we're protected while we're inside this little outpost, this microchip fabricator. So we'll sort of leave that one where that is. Bit of wireweed down through there. There's another human cache, so we do pick up a human reward from that one through there. Choosing our research. One more, and then we open up tier 2. So what else do we want? Usually the grenades are usually fairly good. The cryo fabricator generates trips required for basic cyber units. We will need that. Actually, we will need that indeed. The chrysalical growths, so trait for headquarters, +2 chips. Oh, which way should we go? There's an upkeep there. That contributes 3. This one contributes +2 chips. I'm assuming that that's just an automatic thing, so let's go that way. I don't know. I've got no idea. Yeah, so you can see that it's actually now using like a melee attack as well, and we're not really, like, we're getting a little bit back each time. So I think we can afford, unless something else arrives, which shouldn't really come out of this except if it's an Eldrich type unit, I think we'll just keep on plugging away at this thing. It's only got a single unit here, so it's going to be doing, the animation looks actually really, really cool, I've got to say. I do like it. But we're only not even halfway through, and we're going to end up with a bit of trouble in through the side, I think. So we're going to ultimately have to come back down once these guys finish off doing what they're doing. Yeah, well, if we do that one there, we can get the kill. So we've taken that one. We've got a level up there, which is great. And level up there as well. So these have now both gone to level 2. This other unit that's back in here, let's go and take this cyber cache and see what we end up getting from that one. Okay, we've picked up a heap of energy, so we've now got a bit more energy back up this other side. This one here is still okay, so let's just keep on having a crack at this guy. And then we'll bring our flying units down, I think, to try to take this one on. We'll end our turn there. Whoa. We're still just alive, only just. Okay, now we've got the chrysalic growths research completed. So I'm assuming that that's just a trait that we get. Produces heroes, and so the headquarters should now start to just produce these 2 chips by default, which will then give us, yeah, there's the +2. So we're getting a little bit extra. Now these guys are going to have to move right back. Let's just move into here and heal up. Unfortunately, they can still be targeted. And need to bring these down, but they're a long way off being able to help out properly. And we do actually have, like, it looks like that's the edge of the map there, so there's nothing much else other than that monster. It's not going to really worry us much, so let's just leave it back in the corner there. There's nothing else up there that we want. Order cities, and back in through here. Now we want to be building, the next one we want to be building is the automated factory, just so we can get the extra research again. And we can then start to bring in more actual units. We choose the research. So we can now go to tier 2. So what do we have in here? We have an autograv assembler. This produces cyber vehicles as well as generates research. And so it initially produces the Exusia Marauder, which I don't know what that is. We don't actually have any of those. Canonical of Dusk. this produces voice creatures. The voice creatures are the Eldrich creatures. So we won't go then that road. We've got the construction yard, which will then sort of help us with different things. This is an Eldrich assassin, mechanical melee hero designed to sneak behind enemy lines. So this will be a cyber unit. So you can see there that we're starting to now getting a little bit of a combination of different sorts of things that we can possibly go and get. Missile teams as a human unit, biomechanical anti-armor infantry. That might be worth getting. Let's just go that way. Actually, salvation protocols. This actually reduces the unit upkeep. So this is a modifier for leave no man behind. Actually, that's going to be the one that we'll go for. So we'll choose that one. We'll exit the city, and hopefully we survive in here. Oh, we're in trouble here. I don't know what's impacting. That's the other unit that's now come through. If it stays where it is, we'll have it. I really like the animation. It's simple, but it's quite good. There we go. Come on, guys. What are you doing in here? So we've got the... we need to bring these back out. These are struggling. Now, what's happening with them? What is happening? Biological. I'm not sure why they're taking damage. I think we'll just move back up and away. It's almost like the forest is hurting them, but I don't know why that would be the case. Let's leave these guys where they are. That mechanical unit, we're going to have to bring support back down. And this will just heal up each turn. So we should be able to finish this one off. And that will clean out everything behind us now. Yep, that's going to clean that one off. Good stuff. There we are. It's lost a little bit of damage. I won't go after that one until we actually get the other unit down. So let's just leave that one where that is. We'll just skip the unit and end our turn. Is it still going to take damage? No, it's now fine. It's coming good now. That's good. You don't want to be losing units if you can help it. Let's just move this one back down onto the volcanic. Bring this one down as well. And then with this one, we'll start to now move back across once these are all ready to go. This unit will start to move down as well. Now, with the layout of this particular random map, I don't know if we'll get to see the others, and we're already 3/4 of an hour in, so I don't want this video to... I don't want this to be a playthrough. It'll just be a one-off video. But it'll give you a feel for the game anyway. I think I've given enough of a feel of the actual environment. Like, often with these games, you do actually have to fight the environment before you can actually get through to meet anybody else. We'll skip this unit and end our turn. Play for another 15 minutes. There we go. Salvation Protocols has now been researched. So this one actually is particularly for the Fallen Soldier, which allows us then to have a little bit more less upkeep. So we've actually saved the 33% has now gone to 22%. So that's actually pretty cool. And if we just go back into our research again, and so we've now got the salvation protocols have now been sorted. We do have another one over here as well. What was that one? This is Parthian. This is for the accuracy for the Outrider. Now, we're not going to have too many of those, so let's just keep this going this way. We'll go missile teams now, so we can start to bring in human teams of those. These guys in here, let's move them down. These are still healing up, so we'll just leave them where they are. And I'll leave these off until we actually have everyone else really coming down. These move an incredibly long distance, which is good. So we should be able to bring all of these down to take on that machine in the next turn. So we'll skip that unit, and then we actually have our hero now. Now, we're going to always be wanting to come back down this way, so let's just go and grab this one and just go to set the rally point to here. We'll bring the hero down. Now, the hero does actually have an upgrade. Without going through what all these different things are, we'll just go through and... But never surrender, that's morale. And this one is take cover. So applies take... Yeah, let's do that one. So we can actually sort of then use that one just to help with the protection of units. So that's our hero unit. So he'll be coming down to help out. We'll just end our turn here. I think with this game, once you get your head around that it's not Warhammer and that it is its own lore, and you get used to the lore, I think this has got a lot going for it. Now, I really hope that we do get to meet one of the other factions before we go too far. Let's go and take... Actually, let's not use that one. Let's go and bring this one across, because it'll survive reasonably well. I don't know where that thing has gone. I wonder where it got to. Well, this is a human cache. Let's just go and take that. We've got ourselves a spotter drone. Now that's in here. So this is inventory that can be applied. So it applies a spotter drone. Let's go and right-click that one to apply it to the commander. And we can also do this one here, which is supplies blinded for 1 turn. Let's just go and throw both of those into the commander's inventory. Now I could put the commander inside the outrider, just so we can start to sort of move these guys around. Let's bring this one down now as well. I'm sort of a bit stuck in here with this. We're going to have to come around the outside. End our turn. Just moving over the other side. Missile teams has now been researched. Economic bubble. Okay, so this is like an event that has come up. So it's not quite tulip bulbs and GME stocks, but your citizens seem to have got slightly addled by and addicted to trading and gambling. Aside from the resulting rentier class that does little or no work besides risking other people's savings, your advisors are worried that this is going to exacerbate existing social tensions as inequality increases rapidly. Whatever you do, the bubble might burst at any moment, but it is a good chance to introduce reforms or regulations along with your particular philosophical lines with little or no argument from the public. So state control, at times of survival, state has always fallen back on planning and big benevolent government. Free markets, free the market and it will regulate itself. Goes to paradox. Whatever, free markets do help growth, even if it's at the expense of the weakest, or mixed system. Let's just go with a mixed system. I'm not sure what this will lead to. By the way, each time I've played, I've had different events, so it's not the same event each time. It's so that is nice to know. So, guessing that's the... I'm not sure if that's what that's referring to. Economic bubble. So here we go. After many policy announcements and fine words, you enact a careful plan to do exactly nothing at all. Yes, numbers on paper change here and there, but the economy plods on like a depressed donkey following a carrot for the 40th mile. The bubble bursts quietly and no one cares. Okay, so no change. That's cool. It's well written, I've got to say. It is well written. Now, these guys are all now healed up properly. Let's go back for the commander. Just see if we can bring that one. Yeah, we can bring this one back into here. So we'll bring the outrider back up. You can certainly move further than anybody else, and we'll move the commander into the outrider. So he will now become the cargo of the outrider. We might as well start moving these guys back down. These can just go across the top of the wire weed or the bleed, such as it is. Took a little bit of damage there, which we have to be a bit careful of. Whoa. Here we go. Great. Okay, now we're probably going to lose this unit, unfortunately. I'm not going to actually do anything. I'm just going to leave it hold position. We have now found the AI. Not the AI, the NPC character. So this is Gutflay is a level 3 city. And so if we have a bit of a look at this one through here, this is a city defences. Don't know what type of city it actually is. So what is this? Cyber? It's not human. If we have a look at human, I think it might be cyber. That's what a human city looks like. And so it's sort of similar. Well, this would be a good place to sort of leave it. But this is now an NPC. They have their own criteria. They sort of specialise in certain things. If we go across, there's Reavers. So this is a Reaver group, which I think may be alien then in that case. So are these Reavers? Yeah, these are Reavers. So these are like, I think these are aliens or sort of distorted humans. In fact, if we have a look at Reavers, where are they? Reavers, so this is actually as humans. So desperation drove some of our people to terrible ends in what might be humanity's last hours. They traded theirs away for better odds of staying alive in the wasteland. Their bodies walked the earth, but the people inside them faded away into it with every passing day. So these are sort of zombies. Zombie humans, but they are still humans. So they're not the aliens that we sort of were worried about. This guy is in a lot of trouble. So I think we'll bring this group in. What do we have in there? There's a crystal basin which is actually capturable. Let's bring this one down to try to save this unit if we can. I don't think we're going to be able to save it. Now these are all sort of just part of the map. I don't know if they're controlled by these guys or not. We normally can talk to whoever is actually in there. Oh, here we go. Incoming call from the chiefess. So I'll accept this call. So this will give you a bit of an indication of diplomacy. And this, as I say, is probably a good place for us to sort of then leave it. But so this is the chiefess. So I see you checking out my knife. She's a beaut, isn't it? Me Reaver stole it. Want to see what it does up close. Not in a stabby way, promise. I mean, I can't promise. I never ever stab you. But so she's a Reaver. So she's basically human but Reaver. And so she's sort of against everything. Just click on OK. And then we have, well, do you want to waste any time? So you can offer peace. You're good at this, the killing thing, aren't you? Let's give it a test, though. We can settle back into a mutual enmity. So this is an example of diplomacy. Go into there. Nah, I didn't survive. So yeah, nah, I didn't survive long enough by listening to the weak. So we can offer a gift. I need you to take something precious, and I won't want to hear no for an answer. Just go this way. I don't know what's this going to do. So gift, what? Is it a Chrissy today? Well, I hope you don't expect one back because I don't have one. Now, how much is it? So we'll go with, we're going to end it here anyway. Let's just go with a high amount. Offer max amount. Let's just do the high. So we do that one. I reckon that's too little, too late. End the call. Okay, so we've given away a lot of our loot for no good reason, but that's just a bit of an indication, I guess, to sort of show that there is diplomacy in the game. We've got these different things as well. We've done that one, done that attack. We'll move this one down as well. So we'll have a bit of a look down through there. We'll choose our research again. So we need one more to get the next one. The habitation block increases the population limit. That will be important for our economy. Please survive. Nope, you're dead. And they're levelling up. And they're dead as well. No, not quite. Maybe now. No, still alive. Just. Whoa, only just. Okay. So we're in trouble here. So this is sort of like where things are working. We've got shaken. Let's move back up and away. So unfortunately we lost that particular unit. Our hero is on his way down. Bring that one through. But that gives you a bit of a feel for the game. Like that's pretty much an hour that we've sort of had a bit of a look at this game. And this, as I say, we've only how much of the map we've gone all the way down. It's funny, this waterway has really stopped us from expanding across. The other AI will be over in here somewhere. And so this was the NPC, the one NPC that was actually in the game. But again, there'll be a lot of personalization when the game does actually come out. I hope I've done enough to give a feel for the different factions and how they all mix in on top of each other and sort of interweave. And there seems to be a lot of possibilities for the way that you'll be able to direct your own faction. And I'm guessing that will have a lot of bearing on what you find on the map as to what's going to be good for you or not good for you for doing different sorts of things. So I'm really looking forward to this game coming out. It's one of my most anticipated games. And I think once you get your head around human, cyber being Zephon as well, and then also the Eldrich or the alien forces, the combination of all those different sorts of things works fairly well. Then you've got the distorted sort of, the corrupted Earth as well that you sort of then are trying to sort of work your way around. Interesting game, very interesting. So anyway, guys, the demo is available this week. So if you are wanting to just try it out for yourselves, grab it. You've only got 50 turns to play. This was only turn 13. So yeah, maybe we would have got through if I had been able to build up a big enough force. I'm a bit pissed off that I lost that particular unit. So let's rage quit while we can. Well, I can do it and blame the 1 hour that I was aiming for. But no, it looks like it's going to be a very, very good game, but it won't have the lore of Warhammer. It's got its own its own system essentially. But I'm thinking that's why I'm thinking a little bit more like a nuanced Alpha Centauri is sort of where it'll probably sit in my head as a sort of, as the game comes closer to launch. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you. I'll be live streaming this a couple of times, I think, over the demo period. So if you do want to catch me on my Twitch channel, then by all means grab me there. And of course, this will be on YouTube well after the demo release. The demo, just to put this into time context, is basically in early August of 2023. So basically, if you're sort of beyond the second week of August, you're not going to be able to pick up the demo at this particular time. Anyway, guys, leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you around.